Alright, well, we're off and hitting the trail this morning. Good morning to you all. Unfortunately, this gator is roadkill.
Welcome back. We're continuing on the Florida Trail Thru-Hike, and this time we're leaving the Aucilla River and entering the St. Mark section. So come along for a wet journey where I encounter wildlife and scenic beauty found nowhere else on trail.
Alright, well, we're off and hitting the trail this morning. Good morning to you all. A lot of blowdowns through here, but thankfully they've been cleared, unlike up at the Swanee.
When I left this morning, it was still very dark, and because of the terrain, it had me really paying attention to where my feet landed. Making my way to St. Mark's, I found a section of blacktop.
I don't know what they were getting out of here, maybe limestone or... Unfortunately, this gator is roadkill. He did not make it. That's a lot of random peanuts on the side of the road. Must be leftovers from a boiled peanuts guy. They're pretty common around this area. We're coming in quite a bit of rain here, making my way through the National Seashore on heading to St. Mark's. Lucked out with the weather quite a bit for a while, but it has now turned. Got a little bit of a front coming in, which is it's gonna cool things down, which is nice through here. Should knock down the no-see-ums and things like that, but with that came the rain. So far, the trail isn't too bad. There's a little bit of a reroute through here. But what's nice about this section is we're going to be following an historic rail line. Another awesome thing that may happen is, word is that there's a lone flamingo that roams these parts down towards the lighthouse, I think, nicknamed, I believe, Pinky. So hopefully we come across this local legend and icon on our travels through here.
I was highly anticipating coming through this section, both for the incredible landscape and the abundance of wildlife through here.
Got some older scat here. Not sure exactly what that is. Wow, I don't remember seeing grass like this since Big Cypress and down in the Everglades when I started this journey. But yeah, if you come this way on it, it doesn't cut. But if you go down, it has little barbs and spines on it that really wear you out. There's a hog up here. Okay, thankfully he's turning back. Don't know how effective bear spray is on these guys, but I'm gonna have it ready just in case. Wow, it's super cool coming through here. It just really reminds me of more down south and central Florida with the palmettos and the sawgrass and just the look and feel of this. And I wouldn't be surprised if we come across a lot more wildlife on this trail because given the surrounding area, I wouldn't blame them for using this. It's more like a highway for them, much the same as it is for us. Wow, this is absolutely beautiful through here. Incredible. Like another hog up here. They are running thick. I don't know if you could make them out up there. It's actually a couple of them. Bear spray out again. Like I said, I don't know if that's effective against them, but hopefully we don't have to find out. Oh, they've spotted me.
I tried whistling just to make sure they knew that I was there so I wouldn't startle them, but it had no effect.
That palm frond actually sounded a little bit like a shotgun. I just do not want to have to tangle with those guys. Lots of scat along this trail. Rather large ant colonies as well. So what we're on now is what used to be the St. Mark's Railroad, and from like 1836 to into the 1900s, it was built to move cotton from Tallahassee down to St. Mark's. And originally they would use like mules, but eventually they built the rail. And it's really neat because it's like other parts of Central Florida where I showed in the other videos. So if you haven't checked those out, I encourage you, and please do. How you have on both sides of the road here, you can see where they kind of got the earth to raise this part. And that's one of the things that I've loved about the Florida Trail, is how it just takes you through these once places that were thriving in a way through agriculture, and also showing you how much the railroad changed the course of history here in the state. By bringing industry and providing a means of reliable and efficient rain's coming down again, and efficient means of transportation, because there wasn't a lot of infrastructure then, just because a whole lot of people didn't live here. This land was very inhospitable in a way. It's just really neat coming through all along the trail and connecting with the history in what are now really remote sanctuaries for the flora and fauna of Florida that is increasingly threatened by development. And there's just all kinds of scat here. Pretty sure this is like something marking its area. Looks like it comes through here a lot. Unfortunately, most of the wildlife so far is fleeing before I can get close enough to film it. It's really remarkable that given all of the powerful hurricanes and storms that have come through this area and damaged and destroyed so much of like the Swanee River and down the Aucilla, that this particular kind of environment seems to be unscathed and intact, given the fact that it's really exposed and so close to the shoreline. It's really remarkable. I think this bird up here is so saturated its wings that it's sitting on top of this limb with its wings out, trying to get dry. But it's been a very wet day today so far, but maybe you can make them out. I'm hoping. Looks like it might even be an eagle, a bald eagle. Wow, how cool is that, guys? One of the few things that hasn't fled or flown away. But it may be because he's not super able to right now. He's keeping an eye on me. Wow, that is awesome. Look at that, guys. Here along this section of trail on this national seashore, there are some campsites that you are permitted to camp at with a permit, but and this is a beautiful one. I would love to stay here. Unfortunately, I've gotten here so early in the day, it's only noon, and I don't want to stop at this point. It's way too early, but man, this is just gorgeous. I wish I could stay here, but gotta push on. Meanwhile, while I'm here, I will take a break on the table here, maybe get some water, get all the debris out of my shoes, and then I'll be pushing on. Also, this is the only national seashore that does permit you to camp in, so that's a pretty cool thing that they let you do here, and I hope they continue to let us do it. Well, that is something I certainly haven't seen in a long time, since Big Cypress actually is an alligator. I was wondering if and when I was going to see one in this section. Got some deer way up here. I'm downwind of them, so they can't smell me. There they go, they spotted me. Alright, cool. I am getting to camp for the night. Very neat little bridge across here. So, I am losing daylight. So what I'm going to do is get camp set up and make some dinner. I met somebody on the trail that was day hiking. Struck up a pretty long conversation. Was probably there for about an hour, and I asked him about the trail ahead because he's from the area, and he was describing the trail conditions, and he said a stick would really be helpful, and he was kind enough to give me his walking stick, which is really cool. It's bamboo that he said he kind of heat treated it, and it brought out these fibers in there and hardened it, so it should be good to go with getting in water and stuff like that. He's been using it a while. But how awesome is that? That's really cool. So if you see me with that and you're wondering where it spawned in from, that's where it came from. And I was telling him that I had a stick down going through Big Cypress when I first started at the southern terminus for the same reason, and I was glad that I had it because of the cypress knees and the solution holes. It would have been very tough to complete that section without trekking poles or a stick or something. So but after that I never really needed one, so I gave it to a friend when I got resupplied, and because, you know, it was a stick sort of like this, wasn't as nice and it wasn't bamboo, but you know, you can't fold them up and stuff like trekking poles, so I got tired of lugging it around. Another reason why I wanted to be a little quick about getting set up tonight is because of all this rain. It's because there's a cold front coming, and it's going to be here tonight. So we're going to be looking at temps in the mid to low 30s. So I'm going to go ahead and throw some layers on and then get some dinner started. All right, let's see what we're getting out of the grab bag today for dinner. A winner is beef lasagna.